Now begin with a 1-minute opening statement from each candidate. So we're going to begin with Barb Jacob.
Good evening. And first I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having this forum for us all to participate in. I'm a business owner here in Stevens Point. I own Big Hunchy's Roadhouse, formerly the Dewey. I've lived here for 12 years. And my goal is to put more transparency into the city government for the people so that we know what's going on, when it's going on, and not after the fact. We need to know where we're going so that we can gather information on vital statistics. Thank you.
Randy Stroik.
All right. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks to the League of Women Voters for hosting this candidate forum. I'm Randy Stroik. I've been the proud alderperson of the 9th District for the past 10 years, of which I've had the honor of being elected by my peers on the council as president for the past 4 years. I'm currently married. I have 3 children, aged 16, 14, and 11. I've lived in Stevens Point almost my whole life with the exception of 3 years moving south to Plover. So I've been in this area for a long time. I've had the privilege of being able to represent Stevens Point in our sister city of Rostov-Veliki, Russia, of which we got to share government practices and be able to really do some neat things outside of our country. I'm a firm believer in listening and reacting to the constituents and meeting their needs.
Thank you. We'll now begin with the first question, and we're going to begin with Randy Stroik. The Stevens Point Plan Commission is currently working on revising the city zoning ordinance. Do you think multifamily residences should be allowed as a permitted use in residential zoning districts?
It should not be, in my opinion, it should not be an allowed use without a conditional use permit. So there can be exceptions to that under strict conditions that would be placed by both the Plan Commission and then ultimately reviewed and approved by the City Council.
Thank you. Barb Jacob.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. The Stevens Point Plan Commission is currently working on revising the city zoning ordinance. Do you think multifamily residences should be allowed as a permitted use in residential zoning districts?
No, I don't. I believe that residential areas are basically just what they're said, residential. They're for single families. When you get apartment complexes and things in a single family atmosphere and setting, you run into problems. And I don't believe that it's beneficial to people, residents. They're used to their, and basically want their little neighborhoods. And by putting complexes in there, I think that that jeopardizes it.
Thank you. For the second question, we'll begin with Barb Jacob. Do you see Edgewater Manor as an asset or a liability? Do you favor selling Edgewater Manor?
I think Edgewater Manor is an asset to the city of Stevens Point. Our elderly people in the city of Stevens Point is what made Stevens Point what it is today. And I don't feel that we should be turning our back on these people. Edgewater Manor is very important. For years, we collected money from Edgewater Manor and put it in other areas of the city. We didn't put this money back into Edgewater to keep it up to standards. I think it's the city's responsibility to put this building back into shape, to maintain it, and to keep it within the city for these elderly people. I don't think this is a time to to turn our back on these people now and throw them out on the street. I think we owe them. And I'm more than willing to fight for the Edgewater Manor not to be sold and to stay part of the city. Thank you.
Randy Stroik.
I'd like you to repeat the question,
Gladly.
please.
Do you see Edgewater Manor as an asset or liability? Do you favor selling Edgewater Manor?
For those of you that follow the Common Council, I think you probably already are pretty convinced you know what my answer is. It is 100% an asset to this community. It needs to stay in the hands of city government, I believe. We have financial obligations as city council and administration within Stevens Point, but I also believe we have moral obligations. And the people, the constituency that I represent that currently reside in the Edgewater Manor, being in the 9th District, are there for a reason, and it is a great asset for them, for the elderly to have that type of housing localized in our community next to the Lincoln Center where they can get a meal and they can get some added services is an absolute asset. To turn our backs on that at this point and go a different direction and turn that over to a private entrepreneur that's going to focus on making money off the property rather than protecting our constituency that currently reside in there, I think is wrong. It's short-sighted, and it's something that as long as I'm on city council, we'll continue to fight aggressively against every step of the way.
I have a little interjection here. What I thought was a question, which is really a request for these candidates as well as candidates who are going to be coming up next. Would you please stand when you're giving your answers? It's going to be a little bit of up and down, but we are told that people cannot see you. And so if you would do that, we'd appreciate it. So the next question is going to be starting with you, Randy Stroik. Here's the question. Do you think there is a role for the city and the taxpayer to support planning and possibly helping in renovation of the Fox?
All right, the Fox Theater, it's one of the crown jewels of downtown. Our university is focused on fine arts. I think it absolutely does have a role. I do think the city can play a role in that. It's important to know that it had been in private hands. So for many years, the city could not do anything with it because it was in private hands. With that recent transition, we now have the ability to be a member at the table as the committee that's looking into what can become of the Fox Theater. The city should be at that table looking for opportunities to assist with the overall redevelopment. I don't think we should take a lead role. I think in many cases our room tax dollars, we can look at room tax projects that do not directly impact the taxpayers of the community, but we can look at using that as an avenue to have people that come to visit us and hopefully use the Fox Theater for programs, be able to invest some of those dollars in it as well. So I think it's a great way to bring people to Stevens Point and the downtown and the assets that we have here currently.
Thank you. Barb Jacob.
I agree too that the Fox Theater is a very big asset to the city of Stevens Point. And I'd be honored to be part of the planning commission or the planning of the Fox Theater. I too do not believe that the city should take control of the planning of the Fox Theater, but the city should be part of it, along with the citizens being part of this plan. The citizens are what's going to use the Fox Theater, so we should have a voice in what we think should happen or what we would like to see in the Fox Theater. Again, the city needs to be standing behind these developments within the city. Our tax dollars? No. But like Randy said, room taxes, other things like that, yes. The city has this money to be able to help. And that's where I think the city should be part of it. Thank you.
All right, the next question will begin with Barb Jacob. And that is, compared to the current city budget, are there changes that you would propose for next year's budget? This is an audience question.
I would like to see in our city budget more projects from beginning to end, knowing the exact cost of what projects are going to be. Not we budget this and then 3 months down the road we find out we have to spend more money, which isn't in the budget, but now we have to borrow to come up with. I'd like to see the city budget being involved with projects from the beginning to the end and knowing what these projects are going to be and what the exact cost, or as close as we can get to what the exact costs of these projects are going to be. Instead of all of a sudden now we have to come up with another $2 million to finish a project that we started. So I think it's very important that we know what everything's going to cost us in the beginning so we can make a wise decision whether we want to follow through with it, knowing the ending cost and what the whole liability is going to be for the city.
Thank you. Randy Stroy.
Yes, I would like you to repeat the question
Yes.
once more.
Compared to the current city budget, are there changes you propose for next year's budget?
Well, I guess thinking about the question a little bit, and not quite sure if, because we're still early in the 2013 budget, not sure if the question really is focused, would I change anything in 2013 or would I put other emphasis on 2014? So I'll kind of try to touch on both of those for a little bit. I think one of our biggest assets, and I will greatly compliment the current city administration. We do a great job of putting together a budget from top down that is extremely thorough and well thought out. One of the things that I think we're seeing is one of our biggest assets is the roads and walkways that we currently all use on an everyday basis. We've done a great job of planning for the future of our roads. Business 51 that runs from the south to the north of our city limits is going to be in need of major repair over the next couple years, and that's going to really put a tax on our ability to fund all the road improvements that really need to happen. So to answer the question, really if I had one thing to change differently this year, I would put more emphasis on road repair and reconditioning of the current road infrastructure that we have, while continuing to prepare financially, and the current comptroller and the Department of Public Works has done a great job of keeping our road conditions strong, but I would put more emphasis on improving those moving forward in this budget and future budgets.
Thank you.
Sorry for running over.
I'd like to thank both candidates for the time and energy that they have invested in running for District 9 and for participating in this forum. So we will now move, we will now have our closing statement. And so we'll do that first, that you will be first, Randy, for the closing, your closing statement.
Okay. All right, well, let me start with, I'm truly honored to have served the constituents in the 9th District for the past 10 years. I ran as a result of the Portage County Leadership Council 11 years ago, and I really felt that based on my day job, I'm a plant manager of a $15 million company just north of town, gave me the experience necessary to make a difference within City Hall and the ability for the city to grow. I've been honored to be the council president for the last 4 years. Of those 10 years, I truly believe, and those that know me probably understand, I am truly an independent person and all about common sense. It's not red or blue, Democrat, Republican. It's about, at the local level, doing what is right for the city of Stevens Point to make our city one of the best places to live, work, and play. I truly believe that. I believe I have shown strong leadership over those 10 years. I want to see the 9th district on the east side of the river removed from the floodplain. Okay? That's been a labor of my love since I've been on city council, and it's very, very close to happening. And I would love to be able to serve 2 more years and report back that it will be done within that time period. I think I've helped shape what the city is, and I hope to continue to help shape what it has yet to become. I would sure appreciate your vote April 2nd. Thank you.
Barb Jacob.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for being here and taking the time out of their day to come and listen to us talk. I think I can be a very strong alderperson for the 9th district. I live in the 9th district, of course, and I work in the 9th district. My business is in the 9th district. I'm available 24 hours a day, basically. I hear every day on what people want within the 9th district and other districts. I have the relationship, I'm with people day in and day out. Of course, I own a tavern. So I hear what people want. I hear what people's concerns are. And I'm more than willing to put forth these concerns and make the council aware of these concerns and see what we can do to change some things. The city council is an honor to be on the city council, whether people believe it or not. You people put your faith in the people on the council. But the only way that faith works is if the council listens to what you have to say. Because we are here to represent you. And I think it's very important that the council hears what every one of you have to say, whether we like it or not. Yous are the city council. The rest of us are just members representing what you have to say. And I want you to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you both.